Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Centipede Geek. In this video I will be talking about a movie available, it's a Shudder film actually, it's available on the Shudder horror streaming app. It's by the name of VHS 94. It is the fourth installment of the VHS series. If you're not familiar, it's a series of found footage anthology films where they normally have about 5 or 6 different stories, and then they have a sort of overlapping stories where they're all connected. I remember liking VHS 1 and 2 a lot. Probably some of my favorite films that have come out, at least in the past decade or so. I really like those first two films. The third one was okay. It was a mixed bag of sorts, as it didn't have some of the same directors behind it. What VHS 94 does is it brings back some directors from the first two films, which I thought was a great choice. And I would say VHS 94 is definitely probably on par, if not better, than the first two VHS films. Once again, we're given 5 or 6 different shorts, and there's some shorts that are better than others, but overall they're all solid in their own way. And then we have a really cool overlapping story, and just so everyone knows, there will be heavy spoilers ahead in this video. So our overlapping story this time is about this group of, it's about this, I guess you could say the SWAT team goes in there, and they're trying to find out what's going on and what's happening. And by the end of the movie, we're given a snuff film of sorts where these two girls, they're part of the SWAT team. Ended up being wanted to film a snuff film, and it was just a really cool kind of neat twist as we got this kind of it was just a really neat deal that I really liked a lot. And I would have to say, as far as the overall film goes, it's about as close to a snuff film as you're gonna get if you're into that sort of thing. Obviously, I'm not. It's kind of sick to be into those sort of things, right? But either way, some standouts as far as the shorts go. We have our first one was called Holy Hell. Another short was called Storm Drain. Then we have The Empty Wake, The Subject, Tear, and then obviously it ended with the Holy Hell epilogue. I think one of the standouts was the science fiction one. I believe it was done by the director that did both May the Devil Take You films. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I really like those May the Devil Take You films. He also did some of the other VHS shorts in VHS 1 and 2, I believe. And I really liked this short. It was a really neat science fiction take that reminded me of a movie by the name of, I believe it was called Dr. Frankenstein's Army. It was another found footage film that I remember watching probably at least a decade or so ago, a number of years ago. If it wasn't a decade, it was at least several years ago that I watched Frankenstein's Army, and that's what this subject of VHS 94 reminded me of. Definitely, in my opinion, the strongest of the 5 or 6 shorts that were on there. It was a really strong one, had some really neat effects to it. It was super bloody. It was a really fun one. At times, not only did it remind me of Dr. Frankenstein's Army, it also reminded me of another sort of action horror found footage first person movie that I remember watching probably about 5 or 6 years ago with the name of Hardcore Henry. And if you're familiar with Hardcore Henry, this one also was reminiscent of that movie. There's some other ones in there that are really neat. They do like this rat man that lives in the sewer tunnel. That was a really neat one. Probably one of the more scarier ones. I would say that one's more scarier than The Subject. The Subject was more of just like a really fun, in-your-face, bloody version, while the other ones are a little more slower burn. And then, it can't be that slow, right? Because the shorts are only 25, 30 minutes apiece. I will say that one of the weirdest ones that had a really weird concept, but I still liked, was towards the end. The last short was about this crazy, very right-winged Republican, Trump-loving people that love to wave the American flag, and they had a weird way of living their lives, as they were very extremist personality, and there was this person they kept shooting, and they did all this because they thought the end was coming. It was a very strange one, but overall, I did like that one a lot. Like I said, it was more one of the strange ones and kind of confusing at times, but overall, I did like that short as well, as it kind of played on the right-winged persona, but in a more extremist fashion. So as I said, I thought VHS 94 was a really cool one. There's some other ones in there where they're like, The Empty Wake was a pretty neat one, written and directed by Simon Barrett. Great A great writer, is responsible for a movie that came out, home invasion film, years ago with the name of You're Next, and he's done a number of other things too. But that was a really neat one. There's some really cool ones in here. If you enjoyed the VHS films of the past, I do think you'll like VHS 94. As I said earlier, it's about as close to a snuff film as you're going to get, especially there at the end where they're actually making a per se a snuff film. So it's just a really neat, violent movie that you're going to get some really cool shorts in there. And if you're a fan of anthologies, then I definitely think VHS 94 is definitely a film to check out. But as always, thanks for watching another video of VHS 94. For a video review by Centipede Geek, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below.